Okay, again, Roger Romanelli, that's Romanelli, Roger, Roger, and I'm a resident of Hillside, Illinois. On March 13th of this month, obviously, I filed a lawsuit, not only on behalf of myself, but on behalf of everyone in the village of Hillside and people throughout the state of Illinois. The Illinois law is clear. Governments can never, ever use government taxes, public resources for political purposes. They can never use our government resources to support any candidate. They can't use our government resources to support any political party. They can't use our government resources to subvert other political candidates. This is the foundation of America, that if you want to run for office in America, you can run as a citizen, you can run as a volunteer with your neighbors, you can put forth ideas and energy to improve your village, your state, your county, our nation, and government entities that get public taxes cannot interfere in that process. And that's called the Illinois Election Interference Law. What we have seen in the village of Hillside is a systematic, repetitive, chronic, and illegal conduct by Hillside Mayor Joe Tamburino and the 6 village trustees who have used our public taxes to attack their political opposition, to infiltrate political meetings, and to support other political candidates who support them. Mayor Tamburino has been the mayor of Hillside now for 42 years, and he has used and abused his government power and resources to remain in power. And by doing that, he and the village trustees have wasted millions of dollars of our taxes, given millions of dollars to our friends, and raised our property taxes up to where it's unsustainable. Many families are leaving Hillside, and many families are contacting us as volunteers saying they cannot afford their property taxes. So what has been happening? Here is the evidence. Let me show it to you. I'm going to screen share here, and I'm going to bring forward the evidence. Let me start here. With the lawsuit that was filed. Let me come up here, bring this over here. This is the lawsuit that I filed on March 13th. March 13th, right at the beginning of the day, filed in the Cook County Circuit Court, and the hearing will be held now on July 11th with Judge David Adkins. The complaint, as stated, and the media should have received, a systematic pattern of gross misconduct by Mayor Tamburino, the trustees, and his administration to violate Illinois law. And so many of you have seen this lawsuit here. You have here the Illinois Election Interference Law, 10 ILCS, Section 5. It again is set, we said at the outset, no public fund shall ever be used to vote for or against any candidate or proposition or be appropriated for political or campaign purposes. Again, the government taxes and the government dollars have to be kept separate from politics. That is not what has happened in Hillside. Let me give you some specific examples. I'm going to start with the most recent, and then I'll come back to some other glaring examples. Here we have exhibit, this will become Exhibit J of our lawsuit, of my lawsuit. This information just came to me through a Freedom of Information request and was not able to be included in the February 13th lawsuit filing. This information will be amended and included into the lawsuit. Here you have a flyer, our Hillside Neighbors Political Party, and I'm running for a Hillside trustee together with Julio Aguirre and Amy Woodrick as Hillside trustees. But I filed this lawsuit as a resident of Hillside and a resident of Illinois. And so you see here on February 11th, we had a community meeting, a public meeting, anybody could attend, at the Super Taco Express to talk about Hillside issues. This particular day, we were talking about the Hillside summer concerts and how the mayor and trustees lost $160,000 last summer and $180,000 the previous summer. The photo on the right that you see right here, and I'd like to zoom in here for everyone to see, you have two women, and you see them here in a Facebook page. This is, let me pull this over here, we can move it out of the way. These two women on screen One is named Iris Perez, and the other is named Jaquissa Hernandez. So Iris Perez and Jaquissa Hernandez. This is Iris, the shorter woman here. Iris Perez, the taller woman, is Jaquissa Hernandez. As you see in this photo, they're here in this photo with the Hillside Police Chief Daniel Murphy, Village of Hillside staff person Joe Beckwith, and they're all standing together taking a photo. You see that Ms. Hernandez and Ms. Perez have official Hillside Police clothing on because they are official employees of the Hillside Police Department. Both of them in civilian clothes attended our February 11th Hillside Neighbors Party political meeting. Both of them were wearing civilian clothes. Both of them gave fake names. They gave their names as Anna and Maria, and obviously their names are not that at all. And they came to the meeting saying they were Hillside residents. Here's the problem. Here is Iris Perez's timesheet from Saturday, February 11th, and you see it right here. You see that Ms. Perez worked 12 hours on February 11th. Her shift is 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. The meeting we held was 10 a.m. to noon. So it is clear, it is indisputable that the mayor of Hillside and the trustees paid an employee of the Hillside Police Department to dress in civilian garb and infiltrate the meeting of their political opposition. This is all illegal, completely illegal. And it's especially concerning because Hillside has had so many serious crimes occur. On Thanksgiving Day, we had someone shot and murdered at the intersection of Wolf and Washington, down the street from where I live 2 years ago. A man overdosed in his car at night. We see drug dealing, we see people speeding throughout our community. It is an abomination that our mayor and trustees would pay people from our police department to infiltrate, spy, and snoop on their political opposition in Hillside. Thankfully, the state of Illinois law is clear. This is 100% illegal. Government resources can never be used for political purposes like this. And we are hoping and praying that Judge Atkins will see this and will punish the mayor and trustees to the full extent of the law. Frankly, for conduct like this, they should all resign. The second example that I wanted to highlight here I want to come back to 2 years ago when we had our previous election. Let me just check here. We have our attendees. Okay, good. Let me come back to the screen share. These photos here are from the April 2021 election. And the reason I filed this lawsuit, excuse me, the real reason I filed this lawsuit now was because the statute of limitations will run out on this particular incident on April 7th of this year. So when I looked at all of the issues together, I decided it was imperative to file this lawsuit. Excuse me, one sec. Here you have shocking evidence. Excuse me once again, thank you. Here you have shocking and compelling evidence, undeniable. This gentleman here in the green shirt, apologies for the fadedness of these photos, but I have the crisp photos, the official ones over here. This gentleman in the green shirt here on this photo on the left was a Hillside Public Works employee. His name is Ed Hendrey. I know him because I grew up as a young child right across the street from him and his family. And he was a village worker, I believe, for 20 to 30 years. He just retired, maybe 30 or 40 years. I don't know the whole extent. But these photos are from Wednesday, April 7th, 2021, the day after the previous Hillside election. I happened to be driving that morning, coming back from an appointment, and literally stumbled upon Mr. Hendrey parked at a residence at 322 Maple Lane in Hillside. What was happening? As you see from the photo here down here, Mr. Hendrey was going on private lawns and stealing political signs and putting them in the dump truck. You see his dump truck here, his Village of Hillside dump truck, putting political signs in his dump truck. I climbed up on the dump truck, and as you see these photos in the upper right and lower left corners, I took photographs that our signs, our Hillside Neighbors Party signs, were being stolen by this village worker, put into the dump truck for dumping in the landfill. So immediately we called the mayor's office. We said, we need our signs. We demand our signs back. This is illegal conduct. We want our signs back by the end of the day, or we're going to take legal action. We did get our signs back. We got about, I think, 40 of them. I think we had about 60 or 70 up. We got 40 of our signs or so back on my lawn at about 4 o'clock. And this remains a crime. It is outrageous that a government entity, that government officials would use government staff, government resources, trucks to go steal the political signs of their opposition and basically throw them in the landfill. We have, by Hillside law, 3 days to take these signs down after elections. That's not what happened here. It is an absolute illegal act, again, a violation of the Illinois election interference law. Let me come down now to what I would consider an extremely gross abuse of our tax dollars. Here is Exhibit C for my lawsuit, and this involves our Illinois Speaker of the House, Chris Welch. And I am extremely shocked by the findings here, and you can see them on screen. This particular photo, this is a screenshot photo that I took. I was watching YouTube on January 31st, 2022, happened to watch YouTube, and came across this video, a promotion of Chris Welch for state representative. And what happened here is the video is a series of photographs that were all meshed together in a video presentation. Here, Chris Welch is standing with 2 Hillside police officers in the Hillside government building. You see these 2 police officers wearing their official gear, their communications gear. It looks like they have their weapons with them. Certainly they have their police belts. They have their police jackets. It looks like they have their bulletproof vests. The 2 officers, also you'll see their arm badges have been photoshopped, have been changed, altered. Those badges show Hillside, the identification at the village of Hillside. So either Chris Welch or someone on his team knew this was fully illegal, and they photoshopped out the badges of these officers. In the window, you see the window here inside, this is inside Hillside Village Hall at the police department. You see a photographer's professional equipment, shows that the entire photo was deliberately staged on our government building with our government police officers, had to have government approval, and we believe Mayor Tamburino approved all of this. Again, this is 100% illegal. If Mr. Welch, as a political candidate, wants to take photographs for his political uses, he can't use a government building. He can stand outside the building, he can go to his own house, he can stand outside any private residence. But Welch can never, or no politician can walk inside an official government building, be allowed entrance, be allowed to set up his photography, and use police officers on duty for political photographs. Again, Hillside has urgent public safety needs. Our police are needed to protect and serve the people. But what happens here? They're on the clock and they're standing for political photos with Chris Welch, 100% illegal. And then let me come to this issue, which I'll just highlight because the photo is so dramatic. You have an issue where Mr. Welch hosted a political event at Proviso West High School on July, I believe this was July, let me get this right, I believe it was July 30th. There we go. It was July 30th of 2022. And Mr. Welch hosted a political event at Proviso West High School in Hillside. And you see here's a photo from Mr. Welch's own website, his political website, not an official state of Illinois website, but this is from Mr. Welch's political website, showing a photo from July 30th, 2022 with Hillside police officers and fire department personnel. Here's the problem. This was a political event. The people of Hillside, it is illegal for the mayor and the trustees to pay our fire department and police department to attend a political event. That's exactly what they did. You see the Hillside police chief here, Daniel Murphy. He is not listed on the Freedom of Information response as a paid staff for this event, but clearly he's in his Hillside uniform. He clearly should not be wearing his uniform unless he's on official duty. We believe he was on official duty. We believe the Hillside mayor and trustees lied in their Freedom of Information response, and they admitted that at least $2,000 in staffing were paid for all these staff people to go to Mr. Welch's political event, not to mention our fire trucks, police vehicles, and ambulances, and the public works truck, the same dump truck that Hendrey was driving around dumping signs in. So again, you have a completely illegal use of government funds for a political purpose. Now I'll highlight, I think I've got one more super fantastic, unbelievable, I shouldn't say super fantastic, it's another unbelievable example of the misuse of Hillside taxes. And this is extraordinary. Here you have an announcement, an official announcement by the Hillside government was received in our mailboxes on October 7th, 2022, last October. I received one on Friday, October 7th, 2022. I opened my mail and this is what I saw. It says here, you're cordially invited. The mayor and the trustees are holding a breakfast and they're honoring Speaker of the House, Chris Welch. And it's going to be Friday, October 14th at 9 o'clock. But if you look at the text here, it says, we invite residents, we invite our residents 60 and over to a free breakfast with Chris Welch. 60 and over. So I read that. Immediately I sent an email. I said, I want to reserve a space for this event. I was told by email by the mayor, you can't come because you're not over 60. I was 55 at the time. I don't know how they know I'm not over 60, but they knew. But 60 and up, I should say. So they told me email, you can't come. I went to the village meeting the next Monday. I said, this is age discrimination. You can't have a government sponsored meeting and set an age discrimination, especially when it's not an official government event. There's no official government requirements that anybody that attend the meeting have a certain age to participate in a certain program, meaning there's no like Medicare discussion that you have to be 60 and over to get Medicare at this event. It's all an event for people in Hillside paid by our money saying you can only be 60 and over. I went to the meeting on Monday. I said, this is outrageous. The mayor said, if you think this isn't right, go ahead and sue me. So I had that notion planted in my mind. On the actual day, Friday, October 14th, I walked into the hotel around 9 o'clock and I asked to be admitted to the event. And I was told, no, you must leave. And again, the Hillside officials had Sergeant Murphy, the police chief Murphy, used to be Sergeant, police chief Murphy, escort me out of the hotel. I did nothing wrong. No charges were pressed, no incident. I left without cause very peacefully. However, who was allowed to speak at the event? Who was allowed to pass out this clearly political propaganda and illegal political materials? They allowed Mr. Welch to attend. Now, again, this was not an official government meeting of the Hillside government, not an official meeting of the state government. This was a Hillside government public meeting where they said nobody under 60 could attend. That includes Chris Welch. He was 51 at the time. They also let his wife, 39, attend. It turns out that both Welch was running for state rep. His wife was running for Cook County judge. They let them both attend. They let them both speak. And they let them both hand out this political propaganda at a government-sponsored meeting. All of it was illegal. If I was not allowed to attend, being under 60 years old, Mr. Welch, and his wife, Miss Raines Welch, they also should not have been allowed to attend because they were under 60 years old. It doesn't matter if you're a state representative, the governor, or the president. If the Hillside government said nobody under 60, then it must be nobody under 60 for everyone. But clearly, Welch was running for office, his wife was running for office. They let both of them attend. They were both underage, according to the Hillside rules. And yet this is another blatant example of the Hillside government using and abusing our public taxes illegally to benefit a political candidate or a political goal, in this case, Chris Welch, once again. So that is the gist. Those are just some examples. Again, just some examples of, and let me say again, what we've put forth here, and I'm going to bring in Amy Woodrick, who's one of my neighbors. What we put forth here are just some examples of the heinous, illegal, and expensive political corruption in Hillside. And why is this so important? And let me see if we can bring in Amy here. Hi, Amy.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Good. You can hear me fine?
Yeah, I've got you fine, and we've got NBC TV, Chicago Channel 5, and WGN also with us. Are you just with us on the microphone?
I am just on with the microphone.
Okay, no problem. Well, I want to talk now, just add some color. I presented several examples of how the mayor of Hillside and the trustees have broken the law repeatedly and systematically, violating the Illinois election interference law. But I want to make it just a couple more points. Maybe you could jump in as well. The reason I filed this lawsuit, I mean, there's several reasons, but one of the key reasons is to save money for the people of Hillside. All of the activities I showed, the activities of stealing our political lawn signs, of police staff infiltrating our meetings, of the Hillside government paying police officers and fire department officials to take political photos or attend political events. All of this costs thousands and thousands of dollars paid for by the people of Hillside. That's wrong. We're paying our taxes for basic village services, for public safety, for safe neighborhoods, for economic development, schools, parks. We're not paying our government taxes so the political officials in charge today can stay in charge, can use our taxes to keep themselves in charge, cheat, steal, and break the law under Illinois law, and break the law that require them not to engage in politics. Again, our Hillside taxes have to be used for public service, for the people. Our Hillside taxes can't be used by our mayor and trustees to break the law and engage in illegal political activities for the specific purpose of keeping them in office, raising our taxes and wasting our taxes. The second reason I filed this lawsuit is that the law is clear. We have to live in our state and our nation and all of our villages under the law. The law is specific for every government official. Public taxes have to be used for public services. You can never use public taxes for political purposes. Now, the examples that we've showed you today are just a few of the numerous scams and illegal political activity under Mayor Tamburino and the trustees. Just to enumerate a couple more, if you want to fix your sidewalk in Hillside, if anybody who has a sidewalk wants to participate in the Village of Hillside government 50-50 program, you have to hire the mayor of Berkeley's construction company to get your sidewalk fixed. That's the only company you can hire to participate in the Hillside government's 50-50 program. That's illegal. The other issue is that out of our village hall with our village staff, the mayor of Hillside coordinates a Proviso Township-wide mayor's group that they engage in illegal political conduct around election season, and they've done it in several cycles. That's also illegal. So we've got so many illegal political scams, schemes, and law breaking taking place by the mayor and trustees. It's truly unfortunate. We're standing up against that. The third point I would say is we see in Hillside that our Mayor Tamburino has served for 42 years as mayor of Hillside. Now, we do respect the fact that the man has gone to these public meetings and been involved in our village for 42 years. But what we see again is a systematic abuse of our taxes so that Mr. Tamburino can continue to stay in office, make his friends wealthy, give away our taxes, abuse our taxes, and then raise our taxes. And again, a specific example of that, which is just blatant illegal conduct, is that we have the largest private restaurant building in Hillside. The former Steamax restaurant building was up for sale 4 years ago. We had a private investor from Oak Brook ready to buy the restaurant building. And instead of that private deal being able to be agreed to between the seller and the buyer, the mayor and the trustees of Hillside interfered, bought the private restaurant building off the private market, thwarted the new investor from coming to Hillside, specifically to pay a higher value for the building so that the former owners can pay off their back property taxes, all their debts. The Village of Hillside bought the building, gave a check for $375,000 to the former building owners. Then they spent an additional $225,000 to fix the roof on the building, and then put the building right back on the market 3 months later. It is complete corruption, total illegal conduct. And we have this time and again in our Village of Hillside. All right, so those are the examples. Let me see if there's any questions. I think the media cameras are recording, but I just wanted to see if anybody at NBC Chicago had any question. You're welcome to jump in. Anybody from WGN News, you're welcome to jump in. And okay, while we wait for them, Amy, let me come to you if it's okay. And Amy Woodrick has joined us. She's a Hillside resident, and she's joining us just by phone here. Let me see if I can put up some kind of, okay, I can't really see you on screen, Amy, but why don't you feel free to echo any of your sentiments about saving taxes for the people of Hillside, enforcing the law, and exposing how the mayor of 42 years has used our public taxes to keep himself in office. Go ahead, Amy, if you want to take a crack at it.
Well, to kind of coattail on you, I think the one thing that really upsets me is the blatant lie and abuse of the senior meeting. October, the meeting took place, stating they've started this program for seniors and still not yet one event. So it was blatantly designed for political reasons and not for the seniors of the village. So that's one.
Hey, can we just
two,
stay with that issue for just a second, please?
Absolutely.
Okay, so Amy Woodrick is here. Can I ask your age, please?
I'm 61.
61, and God bless you. And this goofy, something jumped up on my screen. You're 61 years old, good for you. You were allowed to attend the meeting, correct?
Correct.
Okay, did you see Chris Welch in attendance?
I did.
Was he speaking at the event?
He did.
Do you know that he's 51 years old? He was
I do.
51 years old at the time.
I do.
Was his wife in attendance, Ms. Shantae Rains Welch? Was she at the meeting?
She was and sat at a different table.
And was she allowed to speak at the meeting?
She was.
And do you know that she was 39 years old at the time?
I actually did not know her age.
Yeah. So you saw also that the police escorted me out of the meeting. They wouldn't let me in because I'm not 60 years old yet, but they allowed Chris Welch and his wife to attend. They did not interact any official government business at this meeting. The Hillside government didn't have a quorum of its trustees. It wasn't an official government proceeding. And even if it were, they would not be able to block people by age. So they had this private meeting, they set this private rule, and they let Chris Welch and his wife come in. They did talk about their October 22nd event. Isn't that right? They passed out flyers
That is
about their
correct.
October 22nd event. And on
That
that
is
flyer,
correct.
just so we saw that, we showed that on camera, that event was promoted as a political event for Chris Welch. The website that he used on that flyer was not his official state of Illinois website as the Speaker of the House. It was his private political website, EmmanuelChrisWelch.com, which is purely political. And basically it was a political promotion for the two of them as candidates. Would you not agree?
I'd have to say I agree at this point. I probably did not in the beginning, but as evidence comes forth, I believe that is true.
Okay, great. So sorry to interrupt you, but I just wanted to get you on the record there. What else do you find objectionable about some of the illegal conduct by the mayor and trustees?
Well, the purchases of certain buildings in our community, Steinmex definitely being number one. There was never a purchase and a plan for use. Most governments who buy a property have a plan for the property's use right away. Here we are, how many years later, and the property still has a for sale sign on it.
Right.
It should be used by the community, not used for an investment in a turnaround.
Absolutely. Keep going.
I also disagree with the purchase of the church. They said they wanted to put it back on their tax rolls, and here a $1 a year payment for a senior living center. doesn't make sense. It does not put it back on the tax roll. It just is another investment scheme in my mind. So those two things kind of upset me as well. Seeing tax dollars go up, tax dollars being used inappropriately, and I pay big money for a small property in a small house. I don't think it's fair to those who can't afford it. Fortunately, some people can and some people can't. And I think it puts a lot of burden on our community. And with that said, they're not offering a whole lot of services for our community. So if you're going to have a high tax burden on the people, what are the different, the word slips my mind, but the different benefits that the community members get? I don't see that coming back as a benefit in any way.
Thank you, Amy. I truly appreciate your comments there. And you know this Illinois law where governments can't use public dollars for political purposes. So wouldn't you agree that if they stopped all their illegal activity, our taxes should go down? If they stopped wasting our money on these political stunts and illegal political activity, we should get a tax cut, no?
Oh, absolutely. I agree. I agree.
So there is a financial aspect, and you mentioned that. Also, just to illuminate what Amy mentioned, there's a building the building she's mentioning is a building at 5207 Ridge Avenue in Hillside at the corner of Taft and Ridge. We have Mayor Tamburino on camera saying the reason the government purchased the building was to put it from a church use back on church use, not paying property taxes, back to a for-profit paying property that it would pay taxes. And the mayor's made this statement in November of 2020. We have him on camera saying this. As of February 27th of this year, the mayor and the trustees of Hillside made a development agreement with a nonprofit apartment developer who will pay no property taxes on the building. And the mayor and the trustees have given away $800,000 of our Hillside taxes in a completely unnecessary financial subsidy to the developer, whose tax returns show a net worth of around $16 million. This building that they're going to build, the construction is going to be around $10 or $12 million. Certainly they could have added $800,000 to the construction to purchase the building, to purchase the land from the people of Hillside and pay back our taxes. So basically, in summation, we have a Hillside mayor and trustees who are out of control, wasting hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars of our Hillside taxes on illegal real estate schemes to give money to their friends, on illegal political activities to keep themselves in office and support other candidates that they support, and to then raise up our property taxes to pay for all of it. We, as Hillside residents, as residents of Illinois, under the law, we must have our laws enforced. We are sick and tired of paying for political corruption in Illinois, and Hillside is the epicenter of corruption in the Proviso Township area. And what is happening in Hillside is a warning to everyone in Illinois. Your mayor, your trustees, you have to watch them. If your mayor and trustees are as rotten as our mayor and trustees in Hillside, you're in big trouble, and you're going to pay even higher property taxes for all of that corruption. So that's why we're filing this lawsuit. That's why we're trying to expose this issue. And we truly appreciate the media for looking at this issue, for giving us an opportunity to voice our concerns, and hopefully doing a story here that will be a warning and education to everyone across our state and across our nation. You are entitled to the rule of law, especially by your own government officials who make those laws. They, above everyone, should know the law and should abide by the law every single day. And that is not what's happening in the village of Hillside. So we hope that Judge Atkins will rule in our favor. We're hoping that we're asking in the lawsuit for all the my legal fees to be paid, which right now are $5,000. I put out $5,000 to bring on a lawyer. We simply want our legal fees to be paid. We want a written declaration by the mayor and trustees that they will never break either this law or any other law in the future, and that the mayor and trustees have to undergo training from the Illinois Attorney General on the Illinois election interference law so that they never break this law again. The election for Hillside is now going to be April 4th, and we do not want this mayor and trustees stealing our political signs off our lawn or promoting or attacking our political campaign using government resources, and especially never, ever having undercover police staff people infiltrate political meetings. That's stuff you'd see in China or Soviet Union or Russia today. This cannot happen in the United States, and it cannot happen here in Hillside, Illinois. Amy, any final thoughts?
That's all I have for today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And we thank NBC and we thank WGN for being here. And if you have any questions, you can always reach me here. My number is 773-531-6370 or hillsideforward@gmail.com. Thank you. Have a nice day.